Oh, this is about the bedazzler, Hugh Grant's wife. I gotta say, the Brandon Fraser incident was really based upon another incident, and I could go into it, but I'm not because I'm not gonna be the one sacrificing my mom's situation here. Okay, so maybe you're the type of person that would sacrifice your mom. Well, I'm gonna have to say that that's only because of bad education. Literally, that's what we call in Spanish por falta de educación. Now that means not that the school or the education's at fault. What that means is it's for the lack of education that you had. That is what the problem is. Okay? So this is why it's because of this. You do realize that a Sasquatch, like they call it Bigfoot, is really just an incident where in Land Before Time, Littlefoot didn't get a chance to be with his mom. So you've got these guys, right? They don't know what a chairlift is. Why would they know what a chairlift is? Well, I'm telling you that a chairlift isn't like I saw yesterday with Roger. No, 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 no. A chairlift is something that you take that takes you up a mountain that is snow-capped, and then you ski down, and then you leave like a little trail. That's not a stream. That's not blood of a volcano. It is just a trail, and that trail disappears really fast, just like a chemtrail, I guess you could call it, or like a trail of a banana slug after it's just kind of cruised right past you. Now, here's the thing. If a ski resort, if you are at a ski resort, there will be a chairlift, and the answer is yes. There will always be a chairlift if you're at a ski resort. Okay? A ski resort is something that happens when there's a lot of snow and there's an agreement about the land and everyone's in agreement and there's a chairlift there. And there's a ski resort and people congregate and they have fun and they go up and down the mountain over and over and over again. And they do it all in one day, maybe 2 days. Sometimes they do it for the entire snow season. But the point here is that they do it and it's not like a routine in order to get to work. It's not like to get water. It's not to do anything other than to just play with your friends. Now, occasionally people, they get injured, but it usually is going to be okay because there's people there that like work, for hospitals, and they take like a jet ski, which, by the way, that's not a plane. That's a type of, like it's like a motorcycle, but it goes on the snow. And so they take that, they get to you real quick, and then they take you down to the hospital. Another thing I want to mention, I think it's time to start brushing our teeth, with soap. And this is none of my business. And the reason why it's none of my business is because it looks like she's about to have some sex or do something, fun, which is also fun too, by the way. But if it's about trying to take or rob something from someone else, like if she's trying to pull what she needs to have her to like maintain herself, I'd say try going back to your mom first. Like if she's trying to maintain herself using other people and trying to judge, using her judging thing, I gotta say that maybe you need to go back to your mom, okay, and get to know your mom better. And that goes for these two guys also. Like they think that they're gonna slide right into that position there. Is that what they think? Is that what they're expecting? Because when I saw this behind this, it kind of looked like Chris was trying to have that bleed through to the other side. And that makes a vampire out of her. So, that's not a good thing to do. Just like it wasn't a good thing to do when he made an art piece, which he took a mannequin that was Colleen's, and then he put a mirror tile over it, over the, it was a bust. Okay? Now, here's the thing when you do that. It's turning, the mirror into something that's intended for milking. Okay? That is a sign that he does not understand that, he needs to get weaned. He needs to be done with milk. Like, he's no more milking off mom, no more milking off mom. I'm sure that the queen and stuff, the queens in all over the world are like, please get off my tit already. Seriously. And if they wanted you on their tit, I'm sure they would invite you over for a little party. Literally, you would go and walk in there with your 2 feet. You know what I'm saying? Like, you wouldn't have to be like smuggled in through, some kind of weird alternate situation. So that's why. And, maybe the problem too is that the mannequin is like too closely, maybe it's just too closely, to be honest, I'm not sure how mannequins got their name. It could be an automated system too, which means it's actually what it is. It is what it is. So, it could be exactly that. Which means it's a relative of ours that has been turned to bread, and it's been consumed, and perhaps that person is still being consumed and is alive somewhere else, but is being consumed. It's like a timepiece. What you gonna do about it? So, and that's the thing. Here's one thing I could do about it. Someone needs to give Littlefoot a mom. Someone needs to acknowledge that there's an error here when you've got a dinosaur expecting a Sasquatch to be its mom. Okay? That's not accurate. Maybe the reason why the Sasquatch had so much hair was because that was a woman. Okay? Covered in hair must have been a woman. I wonder, was it Thumbelina? Was it Rapunzel? Was it, I don't know, Venus? Was it Venus? Which is why she's standing in a fossil, because she was a fossil. Was she a dinosaur before? And now she's a Sasquatch and she's getting stuck at Sasquatch? Is that possible? I think it's what it is, honestly, because what happens when you get turned to fossil fuels? People say then you must be a reptile, right? You must be. And I say that they're probably a vehicle right now and they're flying like birds fly. So they communicate through the birds, but they're still people. They're still people. They're not flying around people. What they are probably just people that have, really fast, a really fast thought process, or maybe they're able to kind of move a little bit more streamlined and efficient because they also know how to ski. Okay, maybe that's it.